Today, I'm going to be doing a DIY tutorial on how to make mints. So, they're fairly easy, and I've got some that I made another batch with. So the ingredients you'll be needing is gum paste. You can find this at a Walmart, Target, any in the baker's aisle. Amazon for sure has it. I got this one from a Walmart. So you need that. You need powdered sugar. Powdered sugar. You can find that anywhere, any store. You're gonna need some food coloring. You don't need it, but if you want it to look decent, your mints. Obviously you don't want purple mints. Well, I mean, if you're doing grape, then sure. But I use green. These are with powdered sugar, so I haven't taken out all the powdered sugar. So you're going to need any plastic or any Tupperware. It doesn't have to be this big, any size, as long as it's not too small. And you're going to need any oil, essential oil. I don't recommend essential oils like peppermint oils because they are harmful to eat. So extracts. I use this one. These green mints right here are peppermint. I have vanilla, anything, pure vanilla extract, almond extract. So any of these would work. That's just to give it flavor. And you're also going to need a cutting board. So this process, once you make your mints, you're going to have to wait a couple days for them to harden. So these are finished ones that I made a batch with before. So they get hard and they're almost like butter mints. They melt, they're hard. There's green, that's how they truly look. Spearmint gum. Just with powdered sugar. So, alright, let's get into the video. Okay, so first we're gonna get our bowl, our cutting board, and our powdered sugar. And we're going to place powdered sugar. I'm gonna place some powdered sugar. I just cut a corner because I don't want to have the whole thing open. So we're gonna dump some powdered sugar, and it doesn't have to be too much, in the Tupperware. And so what we're basically gonna do is this is for, so the gum paste doesn't stick together. All right? So we're gonna get our gum paste piece. I mean, this came with this much, a little more, but you really don't need too much when making these. So I'm just gonna take a good chunk off. So it's gonna feel pretty weird. And if it starts sticking to your hands, that may not be enough, but you wanna make sure you seal this tight because it dries out pretty fast. It might be hard at first. Get some powdered sugar, and you're gonna wanna put it on your hands. It keeps it from sticking, and you're just gonna rub it so it gets powdered sugar on it. You also want to put some on the cutting board too to get it from sticking. And you just want to play with, not massage it, but rub it around the gum paste to get it soft and full of powdered sugar. And once you've done that, you're going to want to get your food coloring. So I used green last time, so this time I'm gonna try blue. All right, so depending on how dark or light you want your mint color to be, less drops, 1 drop is gonna be a light blue. So, the cap fell, hold on. 1 drop is gonna be a light blue, 2 drops gonna be darker, and so on. So you wanna just spread it out a little bit, like that. And you're gonna want to put, I'm putting a drop. And you're gonna want to fold it over and then just get a little more powdered sugar on your hands and just go like that. So your hands might get a little bit messy in here, but it's just the color. You want to keep rubbing it around till the color starts to spread. And one drop might not be enough because it might not be enough for the color to spread. As you can see, the color starting to spread. So one drop might not be enough because when it spreads out, it might lose its color. It might get much lighter than how it already is. As you see, I'm gonna put a little bit more. So every once in a while, you just want to rub your hands with more powdered sugar because it comes off. So there. All right, put another drop on. All right, just rub. Keep rubbing. And if you don't rub it all the way, you might get a marble color, like this, almost dark and light. But so if you want a nice blue, put 3 or 4 drops, 2, 3, 4 drops on, and you're just gonna keep rubbing and rubbing, and it might stain your hands, probably is, and it should get sticky then after a lot of rubbing. So that's when you put more powdered sugar on, and putting powdered sugar on this will make it less sticky, so that it turned blue. It's turning blue. You just want to rub, rub, rub. All right, now a little more powdered sugar. Coat it, coat it. All right, so it'll smoothen out. So that's it with our food coloring. We're done with the food coloring for the day. Bye-bye food coloring. And we're just gonna, oh, I forgot to mention, you also need a rolling pin too. All right, so. Okay, so you want to spread some powdered sugar onto your rolling pin. Just turn it, put more on. Spread it all the way around. Okay, now your rolling pin's all sugared up, and you want to, if you notice, your gum paste will have gotten much softer than how it was in the beginning. So, just want to, I like putting it against something to make it easier to roll out, so it doesn't slide. So roll, 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 roll. And once you're done rolling, you want to get your oil. So you could do vanilla almond, you could do, I don't know, peppermint bark, what is that? Almond, I think. Almond, peppermint, I don't think that's going to be too good. But I'm going to try vanilla almond since I've already used peppermint. Try both. So, I want the vanilla to be a little stronger. So I'm going to do this over a cap. And I'm going to spread it out along. And then I'm going to fold it over, just like with the food coloring. And it's going to give it flavor. So it's going to get on your hands, the vanilla almond, the vanilla, and it's going to get slimy. That's when you get more powdered sugar. And if it's still slimy, put some powdered sugar on it. Just till it's not slimy. Then if you smell it, you should smell vanilla. Then you're going to roll it out, and you're going to do the same thing that you did, but with the almond. So put the cap on my vanilla. Alright, that's good. And my almond, I'm going to put a couple of drops. Oh, it smells good. Alright, ooh, that smells really good. Okay, it's gonna get sticky. More powdered sugar. Powdered sugar is almost like what talcum powder. That's stuff that gymnastic people use. So it's gonna help you grip the thing and it won't be sticky. It keeps the stick. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little more flavor. I'll put a couple more drops of vanilla on. All right, a couple more drops of vanilla. So now we have flavored gum paste, which is going to be what the mints are going to be made out of. And so then I'm going to put another drop of almond. Skip this part if you need to. Fast forward 10 seconds. Alright. Massage it in. If you ever run out of powdered sugar, just refill. And powdered sugar, I think, is probably the most important ingredient here in this recipe. And all right, next step. So now what you're going to do is this part, no more mixing ingredients or anything. Now you have your mint base. This is your mint base. So spread some powdered sugar on your cutting board, and you're going to flatten it out with your hands, and then flatten it out with your rolling pin, or whatever you call it. Okay, so you want to try and make these mints as even as possible. So you could either get a straw. So you could either get a straw, and you could stick it in. Okay, so you could either get a straw like this, stick it and blow, and you will have a little mint-sized. It's pretty small. That's why I don't like doing this way, because it's small. I'm gonna put that back in there. Okay. And we are going to, then I'm going to use a knife. This is a sharp knife, so cut. I'm trying to cut as evenly as possible into strips, and then cut them into little squares. And you're going to set them aside. Okay, now I'm going to cut the video, and I'm going to get a pan, and I'm going to skip this whole part. Alright, and I'm going to tell you. Alright. Okay guys, so once you've cut everything up, this took around 10-15 minutes maybe, you're going to want to get a pan. Any pan is fine. And the leftover powdered sugar, you're going to put a little bit in. Then you're going to want to spread it. Level it evenly. Not too much, not the rest, just this is good. And you're gonna put your pieces in the pan. The first ones you've started cutting should already start hardening, because some gum paste dries really quickly, others takes time. And you don't want to put too much because then your mints are going to be overloaded with powdered sugar. I made a mistake and I put too much in here. You see all this powdered sugar. If you don't want it like that, don't put too much. You just want to have it like this. If you want your mint to look like this, I got a little lazy. I started cutting like that and ended up like this. Got a little lazy because it was taking a little too long. So if you want your mint to end up this color, then you want to not put too much powdered sugar. I did this little weird thing because I had extra and I didn't feel like doing that. So you can make a cool shape, like a little circle or whatever you want. These mints don't have to be square. They could be any shape you want them. They could be any size you want them. They could be any thickness you want them. So the thickness depends on how many mints you want. So if it's really thick, then you're gonna have a lot of mints. Just need to be wise. So you're gonna want to place them. Try and separate them. Don't put them on top of each other because then they won't dry as quickly and they won't turn out as good. So when they're done, you're gonna have butter. It's almost like butter mints. You could suck on them and they'll melt in your mouth, but not as much as butter mints because they're homemade. They're not processed. They don't have all that stuff and chemicals and all that stuff that butter mints do have. So you want to try and spread them out. Try not to have them touching. And when you're done, you could try one. It's not going to taste as good as when they're done because the oil or extract or whatever you put in there still needs to sit and do its thing, do what it needs to do. So don't use 3 rules. Don't use essential oil. Don't make your mints rainbow colored or some weird color because then no one's going to want to eat them. And do not use too much oil or food coloring. And one more. This isn't really a rule, but it's something that is going to not save your life, but it's going to help you out a lot. Always use powdered sugar. Don't try to cut it with salt. Use powdered sugar because I watched a video on how to do this. I edited the how to make them. And they use salt, and salt tastes disgusting on them. So you really don't want to use salt because then if you use salt, then you're gonna have to blow it off and you're gonna have to melt it off or whatever. And that's just way too complicated. So powdered sugar also works. And if you start running out of space, you could put them on top of each other, but just try and make room, try and squish them all in. Not squish them because then they're gonna obviously get squished, and just try to put them as tight as you can without squishing them next to each other. Okay, so once you have set I don't want to tilt it too much, but this is what it should look like all spread out. You don't have to use this size pan, but any size pan would be good. And so you don't want to have too much powdered sugar. And so then you're going to no wrap or anything on it. Let it sit in a corner where nobody's gonna tamper with them or mess with them, so that they could dry. Give them a day or 2. Check them in a day and a half. You don't set a timer. It doesn't have to be specific or anything. Set them in. Check them in a day and a half. Grab one. They should be squishy now. If they're not hard, let them sit. And yeah, when they get hard, when they'll start getting hard, give them a couple more hours, a day, and any extract So remember, any extract, anything you want, and this is my tutorial on how to make mince. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.